We're waiting. I'm talking to that one?
And that one.
And that one.
And we're
okay,
good.
Great. Awesome. Hey, how are you? I'm Mel Robbins. I'm so glad you're here. It is Friday, February 16th. This is Coffee Talk. 15th? Oh, 15th. It's Friday, February 15th. And this is Coffee Talk, which is our live weekday broadcast where we bring you behind the scenes, answer your questions, and have a topic for today. Geez, I think I need more coffee. Where is my coffee? Is my coffee around here somewhere? It is Coffee Talk. Did I throw it out? Did I put my coffee in the garbage? I think I put it in the garbage. Oh my God.
I forget.
You don't mind having, okay, thank you. So I can't do Coffee Talk without coffee, clearly, if I'm already stumbling my words this early. We have a topic for the day. We have one every day. And today's topic is why it is so important for you to own your dreams and to not diminish them. And I'm going to explain what I'm talking about in the context of this really killer project that we've done with Audible called Take Control of Your Life, how to silence your fears and win the mental game. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about what is the big dream that you have. And as you know, I'm a huge dreamer. Ever since I was really teeny tiny little kid growing up in Western Michigan, I would turn on the TV and when I came home from school, and you know what would be on? Talk shows. Sally Jesse Raphael, Donahue, Montel Williams, Oprah, of course, came on the scene with her own show in 1986. So even when I was in college in the late 80s, after classes, as I was walking through the coop at Dartmouth, I would be looking up at the televisions to see if Oprah was on. And you know what my dream was? My dream someday was to be a talk show host. And I was always embarrassed to admit it because it seemed so implausible. I mean, it seemed, how on earth does one even do that? And see, that's the thing about dreams, is that your dreams, they matter. And in order to achieve them, you're going to have to be able to have the courage to be brave enough to actually state what your dreams are. Because if you can't own them, you don't deserve them. And so here's what I want to do today. First of all, I want you to practice doing this before I get into the coaching and before I tell you a little story about a friend of mine named Dan. Would you mind shutting that door for me because I hear the hallway? Thanks, Carolyn. Really appreciate it. Oh, coffee.
Now it's Coffee Talk.
Now it's Coffee Talk. And look at this. It says, do what you love, our WeWork mug. It's true. I want you to do what you love. And it begins with having the courage to own your dreams and not be embarrassed. So I want you to take a minute. And I want you to think for yourself, what is that dream that you have that you are embarrassed or shy about admitting? And I want you to go into the comments. Now take a second. Don't write down the one that you admit now. What's the big one that you're embarrassed to admit because you're nowhere near that? In fact, it takes a level of audacity for you to type it. What is that dream for you? And I want you to write in the comments. Tell us your name, your first name, tell us where you're from, and I want you to write down that massive dream that you have that you are scared to admit. And as they start to roll in, the team is going to start to tell me what some of these crazy dreams. My dream was to be a talk show host on TV. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how you start to close the gap, but you have to first admit what you dream about, okay? Tell us your name, where you're from, and what is that dream that you're scared to admit. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this, and we're going to have your stuff come in and I'm going to start telling everybody what the dreams are that are coming in, is because we did this incredible project with Audible called Take Control of Your Life. And I'm holding this up so that you can see what this project looks like. I'm not asking you to buy it. If you are interested in it, it's a 10-hour audiobook that we just released. It's the #1 new release on Audible, and it talks all about the biggest fears that we have and how they hold us back in ways that we don't realize. And we're talking about dreams today on Coffee Talk because in the first coaching session, the person that you meet is a guy named Dan, who's amazing. He's the world's best physical education teacher at an incredible high school. I would love for him to be the PE teacher and coach for my kids because he's so incredibly awesome. And his biggest fear in life was that he was never going to figure out how to live his dream. Yeah, he loves his job, but there's something calling him, just like there's something calling you. What are some of the dreams that are coming in?
We have S. Romito saying she's in Boston. She wants to be a yoga teacher and functional medicine practitioner.
Awesome.
Let's do the human thing to be a speaker. Olga in Russia wants to start a school.
Awesome.
Viva Spiva wants to change the education system on a state level.
Fabulous.
Jennifer Noble wants to be a sustainable fashion designer. And on Facebook...
What do we got on Facebook?
Jennifer wants to go to nursing school even though she feels like she's older.
Great.
Shiwan wants to ride dressage in the Tokyo Olympics, doesn't even currently have a horse.
Ride dressage in the Tokyo
Chris
Olympics?
wants to be a stand-up comedian.
Chris dreams of being a stand-up comedian, yes.
Debbie would love to own a horse business.
Horse business. Ooh, we got some riders.
Trish would love to help her husband retire from a stressful job he hates.
Oh, that is a dream come true. Wouldn't that be? But then you're going to have to deal with him at home. Are you sure? Just kidding. That was a marriage joke.
Bill wants to play guitar professionally.
Wow, that's awesome. So keep writing down. What is your dream? So first name, where are you writing from? What is that dream you're embarrassed to say out loud? Because when I was talking to Dan, who's the first coaching session, 10 hours of coaching, you not only hear people's stories, the fears that are holding them back, all fears you're going to relate to, by the way, the fear of not figuring it out, the fear of not knowing what the next chapter is going to be, the fear of not knowing how to pursue your dream. That was all that Dan's session was about. And, what you can do if you're not interested in listening to this, is you can go to melrobbins.com/take control. This is a 55-page workbook that our team put together that goes along with the Audible project. And if you go to melrobbins.com/take control, what page is the session on for this one, Tracy?
Today, 5 and 6.
5 and 6. So if you download this book and you can just save it on your phone, on pages 5, look at this, look at all this material. 5 right here, we're asking you. You have to state it to create it. That's the first takeaway about your dreams, guys. You got to state it to create it. Then, how do you downplay or diminish this dream? So what's interesting is the second that somebody, this is what happened with Dan. The second I said, so what do you dream about doing? You know what Dan's response was to me? Don't laugh. Don't laugh. And I bet there are a lot of you that the second that I ask you to say, what's your dream? Your response is, oh, don't laugh. Or should I even say the one that I really want? Because I sound ridiculous if I say I want to ride dressage at the Tokyo Olympics and I don't even have a horse. Like how you have to state it to create it. That's number one. Number two, then you've got to realize that the one person that is diminishing your ability to make these dreams a reality is you. Because when you state your dream, this is what happens. You state it, and then all of a sudden you're present to how far away you are from it. And when you see the distance between where you are and where you want to go, the direction that your dream requires you to walk in, you're going to get present to the gap. And that scares us. That's where fear comes into play, and you start to think of all the reasons why you don't deserve it. You start to think of all the reasons why you can't do it. You start to see the obstacles when, by stating it, what happens is something miraculous. You actually illuminate the path forward. By stating what you want, whether it's riding in the Tokyo Olympics, or becoming a stand-up comic, or playing the guitar professionally, or becoming a talk show host, you illuminate the path forward. Because all that you have to do in order to start to pursue your dreams is take small actions every day that align your life in that direction. So what does that mean if you want to play guitar professionally? It means that you start playing guitar more. It means that you sign up for open mic nights. It means that you go back to class if that's something that interests you. You see, your dreams will happen either because of you or in spite of you. They don't happen because of other people. They happen because of you and what you do. The second you have the bravery to state that dream, now are you going to create it, or are you going to diminish it in your mind? So now that you've stated what your dream is, I want you to tell me what's one thing you could do? One small thing that you could do that would inch you closer. Could you sign up for a class? Could you get a book? Could you spend 15 minutes doing research on Google? Could you stalk people online that are already doing it and start to adopt some of the behaviors that they have? Could you study the topic? Could you do something for free? Could you change some of your friend groups up so that you're around people that support this? What's one thing you could do in order to inch yourself closer? Teeny, teeny, teeny. Just inch yourself closer to that dream. Write it in the comments. There you go. You're either going to create your dreams because of yourself, or you're not going to achieve them because of yourself. It's all up to you. So I want to answer, if you have any questions, go ahead and hit us up. I have a
question.
Oh, we do? Okay, go for it.
People are asking, what if you don't know your dream yet? And that will be in another coffee talk, because that's another big topic in dance.
Oh, is it? Okay, so we're
Stay tuned
going
till next week.
Stay tuned till next week, because next week we're going to give you, because Dan was not sure about his dream, but here's the thing, I bet you know. See, I think we all know what our heart is calling us to do. And if you, quote, don't know your dream, what that tells me is that fear has silenced your connection to your heart. That's what's going on. And that's, by the way, exactly what this audiobook is about. How fear is controlling you in ways that you don't realize. Fear is silencing the signals from your heart and from your soul. Fear is keeping you from hearing your inner wisdom and what's true for you. And so in order for you to figure it out, you're going to have to silence those fears. But I guarantee you, we're going to talk about this next week, because again, it's another takeaway from Dan's session, which is the first coaching session of 10 hours of coaching and takeaways in this new project. And if for whatever reason you're not interested in listening, just go to melrobbins.com/take control. And in the workbook, we give you the takeaways and exercises so you can do this self-serve. So we'll cover that next week. I know it's a little bit of a teaser. And speaking of next week, we're getting very, very deliberate about when we're doing our live broadcast, because the truth is, we have so much going on with the launch of this new talk show and a new book in the works and all kinds of stuff, plus travel and speaking, that I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. So instead, I'm getting very deliberate. So next week, we're going to be doing live broadcasts on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And they will be full of takeaways. They'll be available forever on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and they're available for 24 hours on Instagram. So you're not going to miss them, don't worry. As long as you follow us, you're good. Any other questions?
So back on Wednesday.
Back on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about this. It's a holiday here in the United States. I want you to take the weekends off so you can be with your family, so you can do some self-care, so that you can regroup and take some time away from social media. And then on Tuesday, I have to give a speech and fly to Miami. So it's just a crazy day. So Wednesday, we will be back. We'll be talking more about your dreams and picking up where this training left off. Yesterday, we got a topic that it's so interesting, because the topic of self-love came up organically in my life a fair amount yesterday. And this is a question that, how do you say, is it Mandala? Mm-hmm. Mandala asked on last night's Instagram post. Loving ourselves is a beautiful concept, but what does that translate to? How do we integrate self-love into our daily thought? And it's so funny that you asked this, because I went to a yoga class yesterday, which, by the way, is part of self-love for me. And let me explain something about that. So self-love for me is about two things. It's about pushing myself to do things in the short term that I hate, like yoga, okay? I hate exercising. Very clear, I hate it. But I know in the long term, it's really good for me, for my mind, for my body, for my spirit. I know that when the 90 or 75 minutes of sweaty torture is over, I know that I feel amazing. I hate getting there. I hate being the one that I hate having to go. But self-love means I make myself do things in the short term that have a long-term payoff. Other things like that, by the way, is being more patient with my kids. That's a form of self-love. Other things like that are the nights I don't have something to drink. That's a form of self-love. Another thing is eating really healthy foods instead of face planting the cupcakes. That's another form of self-love. But the biggest form of self-love, honestly, is how you talk to yourself. To me, self-love means accepting yourself for who you are and for who you're not. That's a really important part. So I was in yoga class yesterday, just sweat pouring off me, and Tara, who is my all-time favorite yoga instructor, she's sort of like the rock and roll, reach down your throat, rip your soul out of your body, kind of bring it to the surface, amazing, inspiring person, just twists it all out of me. We're on the mat in some crazy position, and she goes, "What the hell is self-love?" I believe she said fuck, but she's like, "What the fuck is self-love?" And then she's like, do I eat the ice cream? Is that self-love? Do I not eat the ice cream? Is that self-love? And I think it's both. It's doing the things that make you feel good. It's being conscious about what you're doing. That's self-love. And it's about how you talk to yourself, which is why so much of our content is about changing the way that you talk to yourself. I have another story about self-love. And this one's a little rando, but bear with me. So we have this cat, Mr. Noodle. He's a rescue cat. And my husband, God bless him, hates cats, allergic to cats. For the 20 years, we've been together 24 years, Chris? For 21 of those years, he flat out said, "You're never having a cat. We're never having a cat. I'm not a cat person." And God bless him, he let me bring home a rescue cat. And this cat, Mr. Noodle, has literally wound his way through all of our hearts, including Chris. In fact, when I travel and Chris is in the office, guess who is sitting in the chair next to him or lying on his feet? Mr. Noodle. The man who hates cats now has a love affair with Mr. Noodle. And Mr. Noodle...
That's a little strong.
Okay, so a little strong.
That's a little strong.
Okay, so I have a story to tell. So Mr. Noodle is an outdoor cat, meaning all the time when it's nice outside, he's outside. He is terrorizing small birds. He is killing chipmunks. He basically fends for himself. I know people that love animals are gonna, but he's an animal. Like, he's an animal. He's an outdoor cat. This is what he does. So it's winter here in Boston, and so he's cooped up. I promise this has something to do with self-love. So it's the winter here in Boston. He's cooped up. He's going crazy. He's nocturnal. At 4:15 every single morning, do you know what this cat does? He goes to our bedroom door, and he starts meowing like something's died. And he then starts throwing his body against the door. And we live in an old farmhouse, so it's like, rah, 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 and Chris and I always wake up and we lay there together and go, don't go, don't go, don't respond. Because we think, we need to train the cat that nobody's coming. He'll do it for 45 minutes. So yesterday morning, Chris, as we're going, don't go, 20 minutes goes by, and finally Chris throws off the sheets and he opens up the door. And you know what Mr. Noodle does the second you open the door? He sprints off, okay? So he sprints off, and we've made the mistake of shutting the door. He just comes back and throws himself against it again. He sprints off, and he runs towards the front door because you think he wants to be let out. No. He has this weird thing where the room that has our washer and dryer in it also has the cat box and the litter box in it. And there is a motion light in there. But the motion light is so high that only a human being can turn it on. Turns out Mr. Noodle hates to eat in the dark. So the reason why he's doing this is he's trying to wake us up, so we will chase him into his room to get the lights on so that he can eat. Because the second the lights go on, he stops meowing, he turns, looks at you, and he goes and he eats. That's how we know this up. So Chris was so angry yesterday, you know what he did? He shut the door and locked him in there and went back to bed. So meanwhile, the kids go to school, whatever. I start hearing some meowing. It's like 7:30, the house is empty. I go to let him out. I open the door and step in, and I step into a massive lake of urine. Now, let me tell you something. The litter box is in that room. The cat did that on purpose. Mr. Noodle did that to basically say, screw all of you, don't lock me in this room. I just want the damn light turned on so I can eat in peace. And so here's what, I was so angry, I shoot him away, I got the paper towels, and I thought, thank God it was not Chris who stepped in this, because he would have put him outside for days, for crying out loud. So about a half an hour goes by, because I go and I have to shower, because I've got pee on my feet now. And I come out, and Noodle is lying like this on the floor, and I kind of give him a death glare. You know, he's like the king of the house. And I go into the kitchen and I sit down, and he comes tottering in and jumps on my lap, purring like crazy. And that was a moment where I thought, you know what? I wish I loved myself the way I love this cat. Because he's an asshole. And he does things that are nasty. And he makes me furious at times. And I still love him. And I think that is what self-love should be. That you have the capacity to love yourself in the best possible ways, and the capacity to still love yourself even though you do things that are irritating, annoying, and frustrating. And in fact, I think that that's the way that Chris loves me. You know, he did marry somebody who can be a real jerk. He did marry somebody who throws temper tantrums. He did marry somebody who is annoying at 4:15 in the morning. And he loves me anyway. And if we could all just do a little bit more of that for ourselves, boy, wouldn't life be better?
Someone had an incredible idea.
Tell me.
Put a lamp in that room.
Yeah, like a nightlight.
Chris is like, yes.
No, it's true.
Oh, you're right. We should plug in a
plug
nightlight.
in like a little nightlight.
Well, let's see if that helps that. That's a great idea.
Light bulb, literally.
You know, I always say,
Or we could just let him out and leave him out.
when the problem, no, because you know what he does when we let him out all night?
Attacks other cats.
No, he does that too, but he sits outside of our bedroom window. Ah, ah, he'll do it for hours. So, and I of course made a mistake because one night I couldn't take it anymore, so I opened the window and he jumped in, and then that was it. He now knows the window magically opens if I scream for an hour. So that's a great idea. And you know what else it illustrates? It's why it's important to talk about the things that you're struggling with. Because when you're in the middle of something that frustrates you, you're present to the frustration, you're not present to the solution. Chris and I have been dealing with this cat, by the way, for a year. And it never even occurred to us to just put a damn nightlight in there. And so one of the reasons why it's so important for you to share the places where you're stuck is because I guarantee you somebody else will have a light bulb moment and say, oh, try this. You see, when you talk about when you're living it and you're the one that's frustrated, that's what you're present to. And the same thing's true with your dreams. You're either going to state your dreams and see the path forward, or you're going to state your dreams and allow yourself to stay frustrated because you're not close to it. All right, anything else? We're good?
Yep.
Okay, in case, speaking of self-love, nobody else tells you today that I love you like Mr. Noodle. I know that you're a jerk sometimes and that you screw up sometimes and that you're irritating, but I still love you because I love you for showing up for yourself, because that's why you watch this stuff. You watch this stuff, you hang out with me and our team because when you do, you feel a little bit better. You feel present to hope. You feel like you might be able to change things for the better. And the truth is, yeah, you can. You absolutely can. You got this. Because you can change how you think, and you can change the little things that you do, and that, my friend, will absolutely change your life. So go have an absolutely amazing weekend. Take a step this weekend toward your dreams. Tell a friend that cheers for you about your dreams. Ask them what you could do. What are their ideas to inch you closer, and get in action. Have an amazing weekend, and if I see you in Vegas or see you in Miami or see you in Boston, please say hello. And we will see you Wednesday on our next live stream. But we will be here all weekend long on social media, so don't hesitate to tag us, to post, whatever. And if you are listening to Take Control of Your Life, we're the #1 new release on Audible. Please tell us what you think in the reviews and explain what you're getting out of it. Like, it's easy to trash the author or celebrate the author. Explain what you're getting out of it, because that will actually help other people. And whether you like me or not is beside the point. Why we show up is because we know the things that we're sharing, they're helping other people, which is why we love it when you share the things that you see us doing, whether it's videos or social media posts with your friends, because it helps us and you make a difference in people's lives. Go have a great day.